All right, we have Miss Alexandria Yang here, and I just want to thank you. The information that you've been giving has been so helpful. It's been so authentic, original, just an inside view that I feel like people really would never be able to have. It's like they get to sit down with the branch manager themselves and have an educational conversation. I just thank you. So I want to talk to you now, or ask you now about home ownership. How does monitoring and making sure you have good credit and financial management help you when it comes time to be trying to be a homeowner?
Yeah, it it helps. So I always tell people when they're telling me, oh, they're looking to purchase a home, they're trying to, become a homeowner, whether it's the first time, whether they had done it before. I was always asking, well, have you thought about pre-qualifying? They're like, well, what you mean? I was like, to make it easier, this is what you know that you have the amount of your allotment to spend. So, whether it's 100,000, 50,000, 300, a mil, this is what you have. This is your, paperwork that you get, whether you get an agent, whether you're doing it yourself. And I always say, let's make it easier. Do you already know the neighborhood? Do you know the zip code? Do you know what kind of property are you looking to build? It's just certain questions that you wouldn't know otherwise when it's time to own a home that you're like, I didn't even think about this. I just knew I want to get a house.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more steps to getting that house. So when you're trying to get to this house and you're like, oh, well, my credit, I think it's pretty good, but I'm not certain. So like, oh, are you looking to own a home in the next 3 months? Like you need this house now? Or we're looking in a further future, like a year from now? Is
Mhm.
this going to be like your actual primary residence or is this more of an investment property? Like it's so many different factors when
Mhm.
you go into owning a home and just different things you're trying to do. And when you have these conversations, or I'm having these conversations with people, I'm like, asking them, well, I know you're saying you want to live here, but you're saying you want to rent it out. So are you looking, I'm not assuming it's not you renting out a room in your home. Are you looking to get a double, a triplex? Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. I want to. So it's something you assume, people, we're not mind readers. I can't read your mind. You got to tell me stuff. So I ask open-ended questions. And
Nice.
then sometimes I give them even more, I ask more questions when I realize it's a little bit more to the situation. So it's certain questions that to help this person get through this journey, because it is a journey. That's all I always tell
Yeah.
people about credit in general. It's a journey, it's a marathon. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes time. And then even after that, it's still going to take more time. Even me, all these years, I'm still learning. That's just the way life goes in general. But it's real interesting. And I think that kind of helps people and it helps them through the process and it makes it a lot easier on my mortgage lenders. And I'm like, okay, we kind of in the direction of what we need to be. And then from there, it helps the real estate agent and everything from there. So
So can you speak to how even after you're pre-qualified and you're heading down the path of trying to get a mortgage or talking to the mortgage lenders, and then you decide to, like you said, get a car or open a credit card or apply for more credit, like can you talk about how being on top of that or kind of being in the know to make sure you don't shoot yourself in the foot, so to speak?
So I have had two situations. One where it was good because this particular person who wanted to purchase a home, they paid attention to what the lender was saying and what the real estate agent was telling them. And they were like, oh, make sure no large purchases right now. We're about to sign. They're going to pull your credit again. Remember, you have to pull your credit again. Do not do anything.
Mm,
So the person, paid attention. Was like, even though I want to get he wanted like a new Tahoe or something. He was like, no, I'm gonna just wait till after I buy the house. No
yeah.
problem. Then I had another particular couple who were just like, the wife refused. She didn't want to hear it. And she went and got that Saks Fifth card, the credit card. And the husband didn't find out till they pulled the credit when it
Wow.
was time to do loan signing. And he was livid. And he was not a happy camper. And at first he kind of took it out on the institution. Then later on when he found out it was something his wife kind of did on her own without notifying him,
Wow.
it became another situation. But they they couldn't sign for their house.
Wow.
They couldn't get their house because they got too much debt for what the income was supposed to be so they could get approved for the house. It was just a really bad situation. And I know it took a very bad toll on their marriage too, because we had the accounts as well and them coming in having some issues. And it can go either way. You can have good situations, you can have bad, and you can have it even worse. And but like I said, that particular person, they were like, no, they're not gonna do it. The other one, they not per se they did it, but the other person who's with their spouse, they didn't make that choice. And it was just something that ended up bad for them. And then I had another one, it was kind of funny. They was like they want to buy furniture for the house. Well, when they did get the credit card, it's kind of funny. They already signed everything and they already pulled the credit. And so the man knew, because he get the alerts from whoever, let's say if it was, whatever credit bureau that pulled it, he knew he just got his credit pulled. So he was like, hey, am I good? When he called the bank to be like, hey, XYZ, I know y'all pulled my credit for my mortgage. Am I good? Everything's good, because I want to get a new credit card because we're about to get this furniture. They offered him a 0% interest for like 60 months on the
At
credit card.
the first place.
And he worked the system and he got his credit card. He already had his mortgage and he was good to go. So he was able to purchase his furniture for the new home with no interest on all this furniture for his new house, because he knew how to work the system and he paid attention to what everybody was saying. He was like, oh, I already knew you pulled my credit. I'm good to go. I don't have to worry about it no more. And it was like, no, you're good. So it has different scenarios for different people. And that's when I think, paying attention, just have the knowledge and you know what to do. But then per se, if you don't, share that knowledge, because like, I guess with the two, I'm not certain with the spouses, whether she was aware or not, I'm not going to, I cannot speak for them, but I knew the repercussions of the situation. And I don't think that call was worth everything, because they couldn't get their home and everything from there.
So how often do you have people who come in with like home aspirations, but then have to get their hopes down because they haven't been doing what they're supposed to do in the front end?
It happens daily, and I love the conversation. Because I don't want to pay this rent anymore. I feel as though I'm paying $2,000 for rent. I could own a home.
Mm,
I was like, all right, good to know. So what makes you feel as though you're qualified to be a home? Like, what makes you, having this conversation, you want to own a home? Great, I'm all for it. Let's own a home. Let's go purchase a house. Do you have money saved? Do you have this? And they're like, no, but I'm paying this person rent. I said, I understand you're paying this person rent, but what have you done to make yourself ready to own this home?
right.
What have you done to get ready for this, venture that you're about to do? Oh, I just thought I could come in here and get approved for the loan. Okay. Do you have some pay stubs? Do you have the W-2s? Oh, I don't get that. I get paid cash.
How
You
can
get
I
paid
how can I help
cash.
you? I mean, the thing about it is though, it's a lot of people's situation. And I think
Right,
the thing that's missing is the education. And that's why I'm so happy that
right,
you're the kind of person that's helpful. Like, you
right,
take all these situations and you deal with them, like you said, on a daily basis. But I can tell you're genuinely daily helping people improve their lives and their situations. Because when you hear these things, it's like you said, being in banking for so long, they're comical. You know what I mean? But it's funny
right,
how the system has people set up to be, these kinds of adults. I was one
right,
myself up until like 26, 20, 27. I really didn't understand credit. I didn't understand the credit bureaus. I had to go flat broke. And then, like you said way earlier, seek the knowledge, because money is something that we have to deal with no matter what. So it's like,
right.
why not be as good at it as possible was my attitude once I realized that it's not something you can ignore. Your job's not going to just take care of it. You're not going to have enough credit. You have to have retirement. Like, this is something that we have to be deliberate about, you know?
Right.
And
I,
I'm grateful that you are catching people where they are, meeting them where they are, and then showing them, regardless of whether they take the action or not, good on you for showing them the direction to a better situation.
right. And I think, I'll be honest, unlike you, where you're a little bit more helpful and stuff, it's just sometimes you can kind of, I guess, well, maybe it's just me. I'm really good at reading people. And so when they're coming to me and they're having these conversations or they're asking me these questions, sometimes I'm like, I can tell you want to learn this. This is something that you're interested in. This is something I can have this conversation with you, and you'll leave and you'll take this information and go ahead. Or if you're just someone who just want to know it, to be like, to have this conversation and think like, okay,
I
and
mean,
then the same thing the next day.
you can't help everybody. That's why, when I talk to
Right,
the students on here, like on our live Zoom calls, when we in our Facebook chat and stuff, I just commend them, because I took this journey myself, in the middle of adulthood, and it's not an easy one, but it's a very, very doable one. And I just
right.
thank you for being here as a resource to help people, as you do every day, in your job. But now, even coming here and taking extra time out of your free time to help people, I just really thank you.
Yeah, of course, you're welcome. It's really good. I think it's good. It's a good thing. It's a good tool for people to have. And it's always good to learn more knowledge. But everyone isn't like this. Everyone isn't willing to learn. And I'm not going to say I'm always the best person to give information, because some days I'm like, they want to have the conversation. I'm like, I'm not about to have 3 hour conversation with you
Yeah.
and waste my 3 hours of my day that I know you're really not going to learn nothing. You're not going to take anything from it. And I have other things to do. honestly.
Hear you.
That's just what it is. You can call me what you want, you can say what you want, but that's the reality of it because it is a lot of time, it takes some effort, and it takes, commitment on both ends, and it takes, for you to be willing to go through everything and to fully understand it. Sometimes you don't understand it, and as long as you ask questions, and like I tell people, it's not per se how people, oh, there's no stupid questions, they're just da 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 this. I was like, it's not always stupid questions. It's just if you're asking a question and you need help, you need help. That's it. So it's not some, oh, someone's stupid because they asked this. They didn't know. They didn't know. So now you're just having that conversation, and you be willing to have that conversation. But on some days you will not get me to have that conversation. I'm busy doing other things.
No, I feel you.
I cannot have that 3-hour conversation like you want about a car loan and why you didn't get approved.
And I
Sorry.
think that like to your point though, like there are some people that don't want knowledge. I mean, that, that want to waste your time. I think that for me, I have a friend, and some of the students know him. His name is Anderson Harrison. He works on our branding side of the business and teaches a branding class. And he talks about how you have whenever you're doing a business or something like that, you have a chaos point, how that made you feel. And then if you start a business or something, your brand story is, and now I'm gonna help other people not feel that way. And for
Mhm.
me, being an adult and getting to a point where I felt like this was not actually really my fault. You know what I mean? Like doing things that I didn't know I was hurting myself, and not knowing things I could have been doing to prevent the situation made me really feel like I want to help other people not feel like this. I started learning about real estate, going to college for business, opening my own business and really changing my life. And I was like, we all could do this. We just don't know. And my thing is cast a wide net. As many people as I can tell, as many people as I can share my book with, whoever takes the
Right,
action. Whoever doesn't take the action, doesn't take the action. But
right.
I know that there are people who want to take action without information, because that's who I was. And if I can reach that person, if you can help me reach that person, how we're doing today, then we're doing a good thing. You know what I mean? Because we're all human beings, and it's love your neighbor as you love yourself. But if you got a neighbor, like you saying, who trying to be slick and not pay their car note while they have their
Yeah,
stimulus money, then yeah, that person,
yeah.
get it how
Similar
you
to
live, as they would say in New Orleans.
It's very interesting at times, and even like for businesses and certain, I done had a lot of situations that I was like, I didn't want to get too much involved with that particular business because I knew it was a few other things. When I asked a lot of questions, they even say, I don't like you asking a lot of questions. So me, just that's a red flag when you own a business, and it's just honestly, I'm not asking who you're married to, where you live at. I'm just asking, so what does your business do? Oh,
Yeah.
you're a trucker. Where do you, oh, you have multiple trucks. So do you own, do you rent? Are you buying a truck? Oh, you asking too many questions. This is not gonna work for me.
Well,
Thank
then
you. Have a good day.
I know, like, we're just trying to establish your credibility, but
And just, yeah, I'm just trying to get a little bit backstory on what's going on. But yet you're telling me you're about to get a PPE loan for like 100,000 coming in. Um, and when did your business open? In the past month. Oh, okay, that's
like you said,
interesting.
you got to watch out for the feds. That's something that we talk about all the time here, is doing the right thing because it's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
You don't shoot yourself in the foot. Like don't.
don't.
Again, there's no shortcuts. There's
Yeah.
no shortcuts.
And the ones who do, granted, sometimes in the beginning they may get away with it. Later on, they're not getting away with it. Honestly, and me knowing in the banking world, certain things that people assume they're getting away with doing, they
Yeah.
are really not. And you have a lot of people, may not be frontline staff that notice, but you have backline, the back that side that notice, and they're marking it down. And when you get those calls or start getting that on that door, you're gonna know why,
Yeah,
because
how people say, how people say, I got time today, for it. The federal government always got time. They ain't doing nothing but catching people, you know what I mean?
it's real interesting. I have had some interesting situations I can really say that has happened that even I was kind of surprised that, whether people say it's a scam, this, XYZ, but just different things happening that I definitely didn't want to be a part of. And when we got to have these conversations because people are in trouble behind money, and now they're looking at, FBI at their door and wondering why they came in a branch and whatever they did that caused the FBI to come to their house.
Fraud.
They're just very concerned. And I'm like, well, Okay.
I mean, again, what's crazy is that also goes to financial credibility, or the kind of person you are with money. If you're going to be dishonest, there's a long history
Yeah.
in the world of financial criminals, from Bernie Madoff to just plain simple thieves. Like, do the right thing with money so that you can have peace of mind and financial security. And I just thank you for sharing all of your wisdom. Um, it's been a pleasure. I know you're a busy, busy woman. And Ms. Yang, I just am grateful for your share here with the students. And I know that they gained a tremendous amount of information from you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So I thank you for your time as well. And it's commendable what you're doing. It's very nice. I think it's a good thing, and hopefully everyone's learning a lot from it.
Thank you, ma'am.